Good afternoon. Welcome to Special Report for Monday, August the 31st. Thank you very much for joining us, and thank you to KC Securities for your title sponsorship. We're waiting for Doug Ford's announcement. It's coming from Etobicoke today. He'll be joined by Monty McNaughton, who's the Minister of Labour, Training and Skills Development, and also Vic Fideli, who's the Minister of Economic Development, Job Creation and Trade. However, before we go over to Doug Ford, we're going to go to the weather with Daniel. What's going on, buddy?
Thank you very much, Chris, and we are at the last day of August, Monday, August 31st, and we're almost into September. Boy, time's just going by quickly, and we have the sun out with a few clouds. You're going to see now on your live view, which is sponsored by wirelesscom.ca. Make sure you check their website out. They have many telecommunications options available, or visit their office on White Oak Drive. Look at that. We have a freighter going through there into the canal. That's one of the things we're known for here. And beautiful shot there. We couldn't have timed that better. So thank you to WirelessCom once again for sponsoring the camera. All right, so our weather, by the way, is also sponsored by Northern Lights Detailing, which is at 632 Great Northern Road, where they don't cut corners, they clean them. Make sure you check them out. They have many detailing packages available there, including the Aurora or the Ablaze. Many options available, so make sure you go and see Marnie. Okay, so you're going to see your radar now, and you're going to see that we are still under some high pressure, and we're going to see some sun for the next couple of days, and then Thursday we're going to see a change. Now we do have a chance of a shower, maybe a spotty shower over the next few hours into the evening, but we're not going to see any major system or precipitation until Thursday or Friday. Your expected highs for the region today: 19 in Thunder Bay, 22 in Wawa, 20 in Timmins, 23 here in Sault Ste. Marie, 22s in Elliott Lake and Sudbury, so kicking around seasonal. Overnight lows expected: 10 degrees in Thunder Bay, 12 in Wawa, 14 in Timmins, 15 here in Sault Ste. Marie, 16 in Elliott Lake, and we climb up a bit as we get into Sudbury, 18 degrees overnight, a little bit above seasonal for Sudbury. Okay, so as mentioned, Tuesday we are going to see some sun with a few clouds, and fog will dissipate in the morning. Winds will become 20 kilometers near noon and stay breezy throughout the afternoon. We'll see cloudy periods overnight with a low of 15. Wednesday is looking like a nice sunny day at this point. 23 degrees, 14 is your overnight low, and it'll be clear. So not much to report on Wednesday, so get out and enjoy Wednesday. Thursday, this is where things start to change. We're going to see showers move in, high of 22 degrees and a low of 14 overnight. We're looking at about a 70% chance of showers on Thursday. And continuing on into that, Friday, we will see more showers move in as well. Maybe a bit of sun and cloud throughout the day, but the main event will be showers. And then overnight, 60% chance of showers with a low of only 11 on Friday. So we're starting to creep down on some of the overnight temperatures there. Saturday, we bump up a little bit, 23 degrees. Sunday, back down to 20 with some more rain. And then Monday, we have a very cool day, 14 degrees. 11 overnight on Monday. So we're getting close to back to school, and the temperatures are kind of going down. So, you know, we may have a couple days there somewhere in September where we bump back up, but we're not seeing a heat wave anytime soon. So once again, thank you to Northern Lights Detailing for sponsoring our weather, and wirelesscom.ca for our camera. I want to remind everybody, go to SiouxOnline.com. You can view the stories that we present to you at SiouxOnline.com, as well as the weather. And you can also stay connected with us by clicking on the like us on Facebook, subscribe to YouTube, follow on Twitter, Instagram. It's all there for you. So make sure you check that out. All right, enjoy the rest of your day. I'm going to send it back over to Chris.
Thank you very much, Weather Daniel. He'll be back tomorrow morning with the weather again and co-hosting at 8 a.m. on Special Report. So make sure you come back at 8 a.m. tomorrow morning. We're going to go to a split screen now. We're going to be waiting for Doug Ford. He is in Etobicoke at a factory, and they'll be out in just a few minutes. But before we get to Ford, let's talk about COVID-19. As you know, we have our 28th case of COVID-19 here now in Algoma District. The case was at the Ontario Finnish Rest Home amongst a staff member there who's been isolated, and they're doing all the contact tracing and testing and watching everyone for symptoms. But across the province, there was over 100 new cases again today, with 114 new cases of the virus. They processed about 25,000 tests. The province has now had triple digits for 11 of the past 12 days. And our 7-day rolling average is now 114.6. At this point, last Monday, it was at 108.9. And the Monday before that, August the 17th, the rolling 5-day average was at 83. So our rolling 5-day average has been creeping up over the last few weeks, but a lot of the cases are in either Peel or Toronto. Peel being Mississauga and the surrounding area on the west of Toronto. And also there continues to be a hotspot of infection in Ottawa as well. Ottawa had 21 cases in just the past 24 hours. There are currently 49 people in the hospital for COVID-19. That's down a couple, and 18 of them are in the ICU. We don't have accurate numbers on ventilators because it was not released today. And then also it's worth noting that about 11.5% of people right now in Ontario who contract COVID-19 that we know of require hospitalization, which is actually down. That number was as high as 17% at one point. It's been hovering around 12%, but it's actually lowered now to 11.5%. Now, because of COVID-19, a lot of charities had some issues with their finances because a lot of the donations that they got before had dried up because people weren't working the same and donating the same to charity. So the government created the COVID-19 Emergency Community Support Fund. Now, this was for charities, and we've been announcing some of the ones that have received grants here in the Algoma District and Sault Ste. Marie over the last few days. And also, Spinal Cord Injury Ontario, Sault Ste. Marie, received a grant for $5,875. That's to help people with spinal cord injuries to be able to meet virtually with peer mentors. And that money will also be buying new accessibility equipment for those that need it to be able to do that virtual mentoring. Also, the John Howard Society here in Sault Ste. Marie received a grant of $45,000. It's for their emergency remand triage and reintegration project, and what that is when inmates are released, and there has been obviously an increase of inmates being released from prison because of COVID-19, it helps them return to the community, helps them find housing and other supports they need to reintegrate back into the community and hopefully not become a reoffender. And now we're going to go to the split screen, and we're going to wait for Doug Ford, who is in Etobicoke, where he's going to have Vic Fideli and Monty McNaughton with him today.
Oh yeah, Flavio. There we go, buddy. Yeah, I'll take it. Good afternoon. I'm pleased to be here today with my friend Doug Ford, Premier of Ontario, Labour Training and Skills Development Minister Monty McNaughton, Economic Development Minister Vic Fideli, as my friend Doug Ford, Premier of Ontario, Labour Training and Skills Development Minister Monty McNaughton, Economic Development Minister Vic Fideli, Associate Minister Kinga Surma, MPP Christine Hogarth, and the CEO of one of Ontario's greatest automotive firms, Todd Scheppelman of ABC Technologies. We are here because everything in the globally competitive automotive sector comes down to the people. The people you can recruit, the people you can train, and the people you can retain. Thanks to the support of the Ontario government, Ontario automotive suppliers can find the homegrown talent that will ensure that the future of this sector outshines its great past. For over 100 years, the healthy automotive sector has been one of the greatest drivers of the Ontario economy. Over 100,000 Ontarians work for companies like ABC, and like the millions of face shields made here in this plant this summer, thousands of them stepped up in the greatest peacetime mobilization of this province's industrial capacity in the fight against COVID-19. The strong partnership with this government is central to our making the world's greatest cars here for another 100 years, as well as the face shields, the masks, the gowns, the test swabs, and the life-saving ventilators our families and friends need today to stay safe in a global pandemic. Thank you. And before I pass the podium over to my friend, the Premier, I want to share it personally that the Premier and his ministers were extremely accessible during the COVID peak, and their leadership made it possible for the companies I represent to help keep everybody safe. And that's a personal, heartfelt thank you from me. It's my pleasure to welcome Ontario Premier Doug Ford to the podium.
Well, thank you so much, Flavio, and thank you for all the work that you've been doing throughout this pandemic. My friends, Ontario's auto part manufacturers have been a true partner during this pandemic. Ontario companies, manufacturers, they've stepped up. And that's why it's great to be back right here at ABC Technologies. And I'll tell you, ABC has plants all over the place, and I'm happy they're have quite a few plants here in Etobicoke North. ABC is helping to make face shields, ventilators, and other medical equipment. And they're building another factory in Brampton. This is great news, so congratulations, Todd, and your entire team. But ABC and many other manufacturers face a significant challenge. They need talent. They need skilled workers to be scaled up and produce these top-notch Ontario-made products. That's why I'm here today with my Minister of Labour and Training, Monty McNaughton, and Minister of Economic Development, Vic Fedeli, along with my Associate Minister, Kinga Surma from Etobicoke. Our auto sector, our advanced manufacturing sector, they are the lifeblood of our economy. When these industries prosper, Ontario prospers, and we won't stop until every business is back on its feet. And we are well on our way. Ontario added 528,000 jobs in June and July. That's over 500,000 people back to work, including 72,000 new manufacturing jobs. But we have to keep going, and it starts with having the right people with the right skills. That's why I'm proud to announce today our government is investing $9.3 million in 11 training projects to help 2,300 students and job seekers prepare for careers in the auto and advanced manufacturing sectors. That includes 2.2 projects that will help young people pursue a career in the skilled trades. We're also helping job seekers upgrade their skills through our courses at George Brown, Humber, Sheridan, Centennial, and Seneca colleges. I always say, we have the people, we have the resources. We can make anything right here in Ontario, whether it's cars, planes, trains, or the state-of-the-art ventilators and N95 masks. And we're ready to train the next generation of innovators, entrepreneurs, and skilled tradespeople. My friends, Ontario is Canada's workshop. We are a manufacturing powerhouse. With these investments in our people, nothing, absolutely nothing can stop us. Thank you, and God bless the people of Ontario. Now I'll hand it over to Minister McNaughton.
Well, thank you very much, Premier Ford. It's great to be here today with you, with Minister Fedeli and Minister Surma. I'd like to also thank ABC Technologies for hosting us, and the representatives of the Automotive Parts Manufacturers Association and the rest of you who are here with us today. Ontario's automotive and manufacturing sectors are such important pillars of our economy. And to grow our economy, especially now, we need workers with the right sets of skills. That was true before the pandemic, but even more so today. As we carefully reopen our economy and employers start to hire again, they need to find workers who are suited for new types of jobs. They may have had to shift their production or upgrade to new technologies and processes, which will require new skills. And to excel in these new jobs, workers, job seekers, and even students in college or university will need to upgrade their skill sets. This is about creating a talent pipeline that satisfies employers' needs. That's why, as the Premier mentioned, we're investing this $9.3 million in 11 fantastic auto and advanced manufacturing training projects right across the GTA. For example, the Automotive Parts Manufacturers Association runs a project that will create 669 hands-on learning opportunities. Several public colleges in the GTA are contributing as well. They've developed tailored courses that train laid-off workers to do things like operate state-of-the-art computer-controlled machinery. These new courses deliver high-quality training in a very short time frame and give workers and students an impressive credential and a great shot at landing a job. And as we've seen time and time again, jobs change lives. Thank you. I'll now invite Minister Fedeli to say a few words. And give workers and students an impressive credential and a great shot at landing a job. And as we've seen time and time again, jobs change lives. Thank you. I'll now invite Minister Fedeli to say a few words.
Thank you, Minister McNaughton, and good afternoon, everyone. Ontario is home to world-class automotive and advanced manufacturing sectors. And what is their greatest strength? It's the talented people whose expertise, ingenuity, and collaboration keep Ontario's industries at the forefront of innovation and product development. With today's announcement, more than 2,000 people will have the opportunity to train for rewarding career team, with many companies retooling their operations to make essential supplies and equipment. The Automotive Parts Manufacturers Association and its member companies have been leading this effort from the very beginning. A great example is our gracious hosts for today, Todd and the team here at ABC Technologies. ABC moved quickly to help save lives. They're part of a group working with APMA and O2 Medical Technologies to build ventilators. At the outset of the COVID-19 pandemic, we launched the $50 million Ontario Together Fund. This fund is helping businesses retool their operations to produce PPE and develop technology-driven solutions and services for businesses to reopen safely. We've moved quickly on this, already announcing a whole roster of projects with many more in the pipeline. Congratulations to everybody who's involved in today's announcement. Thank you, and now I'd like to pass it over to Todd Scheppelman.
Thank you. It's an honor to be hosting today's event at ABC Technologies' MSB plant in Etobicoke. And I would like to thank Premier Ford, Minister McNaughton, and Minister Fedeli on today's announcement to provide such timely investment in Toronto. I'd also like to thank the catalyst of our industry, Flavio Volpe from the Automotive Parts Manufacturing Association. I also recognize representatives of the Ontario automotive industry from Magna, Linamar, Martin Ria, the Woodbridge Group, AGS Automotive, Acetronic, and the Canadian manufacturer and exporters, and Unifor. As one of the largest suppliers of innovative and lightweight plastic-based systems and components to the global auto industry, we are proud of our Toronto heritage and to be part of today's announcement. On behalf of ABC's 7,500 employees globally and 3,000 employees in the GTA, we thank the Premier and his team for their continued support to make Ontario-based manufacturing leading-edge, competitive, relative, and world-class. This is a great industry and a great province, and I'm glad to see that we are investing in our collective futures. Investment in a skilled workforce for our industry will pay dividends for decades to come by adding to Ontario's strong, talented pool and provide high-paying and exciting careers to more than 2,300 people. Partnerships such as this are what is required to keep us at the forefront of the rapid changes facing our businesses at all levels. Our industry looks forward to working with the Premier and his team to continue to drive prosperity in Ontario and rapid changes facing our businesses at all levels. Our industry looks forward to working with the Premier and his team to continue to drive prosperity in Ontario and create needed skill sets within automotive and advanced manufacturing companies. I look forward to meeting with you again and appreciate you coming to ABC Technologies today. Thank you.
Okay, we'll go to the phone line for questions. Just a reminder, it's one question, one follow-up.
Great. Thank you, Todd.
First question, please.
Your first question comes from Robert Benty with the Toronto Star. Please go ahead.
Hi, Robert.
Hi.
Again, I'm begging now for the teachers' unions to work with us. And I want to really emphasize, I support our frontline teachers. They're incredible. I have confidence they're going to step up to the plate and do an incredible job in keeping our kids safe and teaching our kids. But I just can't understand. We've worked with every organization, every labor organization, every single group in the entire country at all different political stripes. And every single one, 99.9% of everyone's getting along, except there's one group. It's the teachers' union. Why? I'll work with you. Everything that you've wanted, we've given you. We've put $1.6 billion into education, more than anyone, more than anywhere in the country, in any ministry. You wanted ventilation, we got ventilation. You wanted more money for teachers, we got more money for the teachers. We went up and got the reserves. We have more cleaning. We basically covered every single list. And I'm just asking, just once, for your cooperation. And Robert, I got to tell you a story. I've met so many teachers on the road. And almost every single teacher comes up to me, and the first comments out of their mouth, I apologize for the way the union is acting. That says it all. So, message to the teachers, I think the world of you. I have all the confidence in the world in you. And I know you're going to do an incredible job for our kids and get through this start as safely as possible. I'll hand it over to the minister now. Thank you.
Well, good afternoon, Robert, and thank you so much for that question. Obviously, as you know, cases that are in front of the Ontario Labour Relations Board is independent from our office and our ministry. But I can tell you what we have been doing. We have boots on the ground every single day. Our inspectors have contacted all the school boards across the province, and they're visiting them every single day. As well, I'd like to point out that during this pandemic, we've helped literally millions of workers across the province either stay on the job during COVID-19 or return back to work. And we've had great success here in the province of Ontario, employers and employees working together to protect the health and safety of the public and every worker in this province. Look, my role is clear as a neutral overseer of labor relations and the Health and Safety Act, but the law is clear, and employers across the province realize that the Occupational Health and Safety Act says that employers have to protect their workers from hazards on the job, as well as infectious diseases like COVID-19. And we've had great success in the Health and Safety Act, but the law is clear, and employers across the province realize that the Occupational Health and Safety Act says that employers have to protect their workers from hazards on the job, as well as infectious diseases like COVID-19. And we've had great success in the province of Ontario in thousands and thousands of workplaces doing that, and we're going to do that in schools as well.
Follow up?
And back to the Premier. I wanted to ask on a different subject. The House is set to come back mid-September.
Yes.
Have you given any thought to proroguing so that you can have a throne speech and reset your agenda, given the new reality that you're facing? We know that the finance minister is going to have a budget before November 15th. We know that it's going to be record high deficit. Have you given any thought to prorogation? And if so, why? If not, why not?
Well, we aren't going to prorogue. We need to be there working around the clock, and we all have been working, even if we aren't in Queen's Park, but we have a lot of items to get done, so we won't be proroguing. We'll be working all the way through.
Next question.
Your next question comes from Lucas Meyer with News Top 10.
Hey, Lucas.
Thank you very much. Premier, also on education, we are seeing quite a bit of chatter online, which doesn't seem to make any sense to me, is this whole discussion about potentially collapsing classrooms. Either, you've got a number of students that don't come back. So you have a class of 3 where there's, 10 or 5, 7, or 8 or what have you, and then you put them all into one class. Or even collapsing by grades 4, 5, 6, put them all in one class. This seems to make no sense based on what everybody is trying to achieve here. So very simply to you, are we going to see collapsed classrooms either by the same grade or different grades come September?
Well, Lucas, I have a rule of thumb, and this is for the people at home. Don't believe everything you hear online and on Twitter and all the rest of the nonsense. Believe what you hear at the press conferences. Believe what you hear, the message through the minister or government officials. But what we're doing, we're giving the boards of educations the authority to make sure we have a safe classroom. We're giving them the funding. And what is good for Kenora is not good for Kitchener. That may not be good for Peel Region or Toronto. So again, I had a conversation with all the directors of the boards of education along with all the chairs, and I have confidence in them. I know they're going to do a great job, and they're going to work their hardest to make sure their area is suited to bring the kids back in the most safest way possible. So no, I haven't heard that. Not saying nothing's going to happen. I'm just saying I've never heard of that. But again, that's up to the individual boards.
Follow-up?
Okay. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
So I take it from that, Premier, that it's certainly not the government's intention to do that. But do I take it that if there were any instances of collapsing, that would come from the board?
That's correct.
Does this all make the parent surveys that are going to be coming out to you even more important than they already were?
Well, again, I listen to the parents. I understand they're very anxious. I'm anxious. Today, when they gave me the numbers, is 21 kids ended up getting COVID under 19. And we are creating an environment through Dr. Hire when there's a case, because there will be a case, as sure as I'm sitting here and everyone knows it, we're going to react. We're going to move in there. It's going to be like the stormtroopers moving in, making sure everyone's taken care of, following the proper protocol and procedures. I can't sit back, and I won't sit back and tell people, oh no, everything's going to be perfectly fine. There's going to be 2 million kids coming back into class with 160,000 teachers, and before they even got into class, just one day alone, 21 kids under 19. Before this, it was 2,600 that's off to the races, and a number of cases, I think it was over 40 cases in between 20 and 39. The only positive news was when I said, how about the seniors? They said 3 cases over the age of 80. So 80-year-olds are doing better than our younger folks because they listen, they're listening. So I just need our young people to listen and try to be as safe as possible. That's my biggest concern.
Next question.
Your next question comes from Brian Lilly with the Toronto Sun. Please go ahead.
Hi, Brian.
Teacher unions in their news release today said that you are not taking your government, sorry, not you specifically, but your government is not taking every step necessary to secure a safe opening for schools. The implication being that you're putting children and teachers at risk. Do you believe that you've done everything that needs to be done to have a safe reopening?
We have done absolutely everything that they've wanted, everything that the advice from the health table, everything from the Ministry of Health, everything from the Minister of Education. We're sparing nothing. Every idea possible we're putting into the classrooms. Again, if you compare the report card with all the other provinces, it's night and day. And we're doing everything we can. We're going to continue doing everything we can, and on top of putting Dr. Hire in there last week as well. Brian, my concern is how at the peak of this, and it was running rampant, that PSWs walked into long-term care homes. It's like firefighters, as I described, walking into a burning building, and they don't say a word. They're heroes. The frontline healthcare workers are heroes. The doctors are heroes. How about the grocery store clerk and the peak of this, checking out hundreds and hundreds of people? And then we create the safest environment we possibly can for everyone. And the teachers' unions just want to fight. They want to fight with everyone. I don't want to fight with you. The safest environment we possibly can for everyone. And the teachers' unions just want to fight. They want to fight with everyone. I don't want to fight with you. I want your cooperation like every single person in this country has been cooperating, except the teachers' unions. And then please, the teachers listening, I love you. You're going to do a great job. I totally differentiate between the two. These people are going to be heroes, and these people want to cause trouble. I don't want to fight. Simple. I want to get along. I just can't be any clearer than that. So that's it, Brian.
Follow up?
You mentioned earlier that you've been able to sit down and work with every other grouping across the economy, different people of different political stripes. If you can sit down in a room and work with Justin Trudeau, who was beating you like a piñata last fall during the election, and then you can turn around and have a good working relationship with them, why not the teachers? Have you thought about inviting every other grouping across the economy, different people of different political stripes? If you can sit down in a room and work with Justin Trudeau, who was beating you like a piñata last fall during the election, and then you can turn around and have a good working relationship with them, why not the teachers? Have you thought about inviting Remy Sabrin, Liz Stewart, Harvey Bischoff, and Sam Hammett to Queen's Park to have a meeting with you, sit down and hash it out over the boardroom table?
I have no problem. I think it's the ideology. I really do. It's just no matter what we do, it's just not going to be good enough. And to be fair, the Prime Minister, we kind of beat each other over the last year. But again, good example that we can sit down and talk things out. And I talked to the Deputy Prime Minister over the weekend. How can that happen when it's just one group? But it's the same group all the time. I remember back in the day of Bob Ray. I remember back day of Mike Harris, and they want to fight with my predecessor, Kathleen Wynne. They wanted to fight with Dalton McGuinty. They would just like to fight. What can I say? I don't want to fight. I want to move forward. But honestly, people see right through them right now. I hear it on the street. Maybe they don't hear it. Maybe they're living in some sort of magical bubble. But when the teachers themselves are coming to me and apologizing for the behavior of the union, not one, numerous, says it all to me. And I tell them I appreciate the great work they're doing.
Okay, this will be the last question.
Your final question comes from Nicole Lampa with CTV News. Please go ahead.
Hi, Nicole.
Good afternoon. A child has tested positive in Haldimand, Norfolk for COVID-19, and now the child care center the child attended in Caledonia has declared an outbreak with more test results pending, and this child care center is in a secondary school, and this comes just days before school starts. What do you say to the impacted parents in Caledonia and across the province who are concerned about this and more outbreaks like this when school starts?
Well, again, I'll be very frank. There's going to be outbreaks, and we have an incredible health team that's going to be going into the areas, and they have proper protocols. Every single person, including childcare, they ended up getting all their protocols at the end of July. I remember a few times I was up here, and they said they were confused. It's as clear as a bell. The protocols we put, I believe it was over 260 million or maybe 280 million. Over and on top of the usual spending to make sure they can hire more people, keep the areas clean and safe, and we'll have our public health team in there. And if there was an outbreak, they're probably already in there. And Dr. Heyer, which again is probably one of the best doctors in the entire country, he proved himself over and over again on top of getting testing ramping up, and they did that with Matt Anderson with cooperation of public health. And they work very closely. Dr. Williams and Dr. Heyer work very closely as a team together. They're going in there, and they're going to make sure they have proper sanitation, cleaning, and then follow the protocols about reopening it up again. So we're ready. We're ready, and we're going to move as soon as the outbreak happens. And it could be the first day, it could be the second. And I just want to remind everyone, if it really starts taking off, I will not hesitate for a second to close these schools down. In the blink of an eye, they're down, they're done, bang, closed. I'm not chancing anything. So with the cooperation of all our medical teams, with the great teachers we have, there will be bumps in the road, but we will get through it like we've able to get through every other challenge the world, the country, and this province has seen. We will get through it.
Follow up.
If you're not chancing anything, then why not lower the outbreak protocol for schools to 1 case versus the 2 cases that you currently have under the outbreak protocols for schools?
You know, I'm not the medical professional. I've never questioned a team. But do you know what I always say? It's not one individual person, not one individual doc. It's numerous doctors around the table. I've seen it, I've heard them, and they have debates at their own table, but they all come out with the same consensus, the same united message. So if they're telling me it's 2, I have to listen to them. I'm going to always listen to the docs and science.
Okay, thank you, everyone.
Okay, thank you, everyone, and thanks, ABC. You guys are champs. Thank you.